When most people think of the best pizza, they probably picture a cozy pizzeria in Italy, a wood-fired oven blazing, and a chef tossing pizza dough high into the air. But what if I told you that the best pizza you'll ever have doesn't come from a restaurant at all? It can be made in your own kitchen. And I'm not talking about frozen pizzas or store-bought bases. I mean real homemade pizza that tastes like it could be served in Italy. The secret? It's all in the dough, and with a little guidance from the book Mastering Pizza by Mark Vetri and David Joachim, you can make Neapolitan pizza from Italy in your own kitchen. Flour is the backbone of any pizza dough, so choosing the right one is important. While all-purpose flour is great for grandma's scones, when it comes to pizza dough, it just doesn't make the cut. In Mastering Pizza, Mark dedicates an entire chapter to what makes a great pizza flour. One of the key things he points out is the flour's protein percentage, as this plays a huge role in the dough's texture and stretchiness. Mark explains why flour protein is important, but to keep it simple, he recommends using a flour with a protein percentage between 11 and 14%. His flour of choice is King Arthur's flour, with a protein percentage of 12.7. But since we couldn't find that at our local store in Australia, we'll be using this double O flour with a protein percentage of 11.6, which works just as well for our pizza dough. Water is the second biggest ingredient in pizza dough. Now you don't need to worry about whether it's tapped or bottled, the key is how much water you use. This is called dough hydration, which is simply the ratio of water to flour expressed as a percentage. So, a 70% hydrated dough simply means that we need to use 70 grams of water for every 100 grams of flour. Choosing our hydration comes down to how we're going to cook our pizza. Are we using a pizza stone in a regular oven, or do we have a pizza oven? Mark recommends around 70% hydration if you're cooking in a home oven, and about 60% if you're using a pizza oven. Understanding the correct dough hydration is what helped me make the biggest improvement in my homemade pizza journey. Another technique that Mark uses in his recipes, and one that really improved my pizzas, is using a Poolish. So what exactly is a Poolish, and why should we use one? A Poolish is basically 100% hydrated pre-ferment. Think of it as a little flavour booster for your dough. It's just equal parts flour and water with a pinch of yeast, made the day before. And while it rests, the yeast works its magic, creating an extra flavour and a better texture in your pizza dough. The best part? Making a Poolish is quick and easy. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. So for the Poolish, Mark uses 35% of the total flour required. So with 1 kilogram of total flour, you'd use 350 grams of the flour for your Poolish, along with 350 grams of water and a tiny pinch of yeast, approximately 0.2 grams. Mix the flour, water and yeast together until fully combined. Then let it rest at room temperature for an hour before placing in the fridge for another 16 to 24 hours. Now, while our Poolish is slowly fermenting in the fridge, it's time to decide how we're going to cook our pizzas. If this is your first time making pizzas at home, the best place to start is with a pizza stone in your oven. For your regular oven, 70% hydration is perfect. Home ovens aren't as hot, so the dough cooks a bit slower, and having the extra water keeps it soft and fluffy instead of drying out and turning into a pizza cracker. Start by removing the Poolish from the fridge. Then mix in 350 grams of water with 1 gram of yeast. Then stir in 650 grams of flour and 20 grams of salt. But if you're using a pizza oven, just swap the 350 grams of water for 250 grams. This lowers the hydration to 60%, which is what Mark recommends for pizza ovens. Everything else in the recipe stays exactly the same. Once everything is combined, it's time to knead the dough. Kneading is simple, just push the dough away with your hand, fold it back, turn it a bit and repeat. If the dough feels very sticky, use the slap and fold method. Just pick up the dough, slap it onto the counter, fold it over and repeat. You'll want to keep kneading until the dough is soft, smooth and springs back when poked. This usually takes about 10 to 20 minutes. If you've got a stand mixer with a dough hook, you can let that do all the hard work for you. Mark does point out though, if your mixer is less than 600 watts, it's safer to mix the dough in 2 batches. Run each batch in the mixer for 7 to 10 minutes, until the dough looks nice and smooth. Now that our dough is kneaded, we can either cover and let it rest at room temperature for about 2 hours, or cover and place in the fridge overnight to develop deeper flavours. After 2 hours, or the next day if you've rested it overnight, take the dough out of the bowl and place it on your counter. Using a scale, divide it into portions of about 250 to 280 grams for each dough ball. We should get about 6 dough balls for every 1 kilo of flour used. And to shape the dough into dough balls, take one weighed portion and fold the edges underneath, tucking them in as you go. Keep turning and tucking until the surface is smooth and tight, then pinch the bottom underneath to seal it. Place the dough balls onto the counter and cover it with a wet tea towel or cling wrap, or pop it into a proofing container if you have one. Then let it rest for another 30 minutes before cooking. And if you've made too many, well, what a terrible problem to have. Luckily, you can store the dough balls in the freezer for up to 6 months, and just take one out in the morning on the day you want to use it and it'll be ready by dinner. Now it's time to cook. If you're cooking in a home oven with a pizza stone, make sure to preheat the oven with the stone inside for at least an hour at the highest temperature your oven will go. Make sure to position the pizza stone about 20 centimeters below your oven's grill or broiler, and turn it on 20 minutes before cooking. I couldn't find my old pizza stone, so here's a hack. Use a baking tray as a makeshift stone. It won't give you the crispiest bottom, but it'll get you out of trouble and still make a delicious pizza. That said, a pizza stone will give you the best results, so use one if you can. You can usually find them in the barbecue section of most big supermarkets. For a gas pizza oven, just crank it to the highest temperature and let it preheat for 15 minutes before cooking. With the oven preheated, we can stretch the dough. If you've never done this before, it's straightforward, as we're not throwing it in the air like they do in the movies. On a lightly floured bench, start by pressing it gently with your fingers, starting in the center and moving outwards, leaving a slight edge for the crust. Pick up the dough, being careful not to pinch the crust, and let gravity help stretch it, rotating as you go until your pizza is about 25 to 30 centimeters wide, 10 to 12 inches. And now it's time to assemble your pizza. Start by spreading sauce evenly over your dough, leaving a small gap around the edge. Add your cheese and toppings, but don't overdo it, less is really more. I like using mozzarella cheese from a ball like this one, as I find it gives the best results. Mark has plenty of topping combinations you can try, but today we're keeping it simple with a classic margherita. Once the pizza is assembled, it's time to get it onto the peel. An easy way to do this is to assemble your pizza right on the peel, giving it a light shake every minute or so to make sure it doesn't stick. But if you've made it on the counter, just sprinkle some flour on the end of the peel, lift one side of the pizza and gently slide the peel underneath in one quick motion. It's a bit tricky at first, but with a few tries you'll get the hang of it. This will become another thing you'll master. Give the peel a light shake to make sure the pizza moves freely, and we're ready to go. If it sticks in a few spots, gently lift the dough and sprinkle a little flour underneath where it's sticking. Now carefully slide the pizza off the peel and onto the preheated stone or tray. Try to do this in one motion as it helps keep the pizza shape intact. Bake the pizza until the crust is golden and the cheese is bubbling. This usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. But in a pizza oven, it will only take about 60 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. Keep a close eye on the pizza and rotate it every 20 seconds so the crust doesn't burn. You're looking for a beautifully puffed up crust all around, with that classic leopard spotting like on the Mastering Pizza front cover. Once your pizza is done, use the peel to remove it from your oven and transfer to a cutting board or plate. Then repeat the process until you've made as many pizzas as you want. And there you have it. You've made the perfect homemade pizza that looks like it comes straight from Italy. We highly recommend grabbing a book on pizza making, as this video is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to mastering pizza. There is so much to learn and plenty of great books out there ready to guide you. So grab yourself a book, or even better, get a pizza making book for a loved one, as it's basically an investment in free pizzeria quality pizzas for life. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let us know what other book or cookbook inspired videos you want to see next. So keep practicing and explore everything there is to know about pizzas. Slice, enjoy, and happy cooking.